Good day, everyone. Mr. Kilroy here. Changing things up again. Instead of sermons and lectures and other sundry informational videos, or poking fun at our young Prime Minister, I'm going to tell stories. It is my sincerest wish and hope that we can all relate to the stories that I tell. The one that I am about to tell should hit home for anyone who is the father of a daughter. It should hit home for anyone that has female relatives that they are fond of. Anyone who's ever lived in a family knows everything isn't all rainbows and sunshine in a family. And we do get a little, how you would say, displeased with family members at times, from time to time. But it doesn't diminish our feelings for them. This is a true story. It is detailed in Armed and Female by Paxton Quigley. It is also known as Margo'S Story. Margot Feldman was the eldest of her father's 3 daughters, and sort of stood in for the son that he didn't have. She liked the fact that her father always made her feel as though she was responsible and important. She wasn't a big fan of guns either. She didn't even know her father owned a gun until the night before he died, when he asked her to go to the top dresser drawer and bring him the wooden box that she would find inside. She retrieved the box from the drawer and brought the box over to him in his bed, and he took the box, and out of it he retrieved a revolver, checked to see that it was unloaded, then handed it to her. He said, "It's yours. Going to show you how to use it right now. Always keep it in your dresser drawer, and don't forget what I teach you tonight. It may someday save your life, your mother's, or your sister's, or your future child's life." It was many months after Margot's father's death that an assailant broke into her basement apartment. Margot was in the shower at the time. She didn't hear him break in. It wasn't until she flung open the shower curtain that she saw him. He was massive, and he was standing at her bathroom door, and there she was, stark naked, frightened, and trapped. He tossed her a towel, and then let her have a look at the rather large knife that he was. Grinning, he told her to dry herself off very slowly. When she was dry, he ordered her to put some perfume on, and shoved her into the bedroom. Once in the bedroom, he sat down on her bed, again showing her the big knife. He ordered her to put her sexiest underwear on, to get sexy for. Well, there's no question, no doubt, what Margot did next. Margot went over to the dresser drawer. Reaching into the drawer, Margot turned to face the man she later described as her would-be rapist, or worse, murderer. She was holding her revolver in her right hand and a pair of red bikini panties in the left. The sight of her handgun startled her assailant so much that he launched himself backwards on the bed, dropped his knife to the floor, and banged his head on the light over the pillows. Controlling her gun and now the situation, Margot told the now wimpish coward to keep his right hand on top of his head, reach across his body with the left, and pick up the phone and dial 911. Then she ordered him to tell the police the predicament that he was in. Once the police were on the way, she ordered him to wriggle around, hands on top of his head, until he could lie face down with his face in the pillow. When he complained of not being able to breathe, she told him, would it be more difficult breathing through the holes in his back if he tried to get up? He was still in that position when the police arrived. Like so many women, Margot was alone at the time of the attack, confined in her apartment and confronted by an unknown violent criminal. No one else was there to help her, nor could they have been. This man broke into Margot's home, wielding a knife and was a very clear and positive threat to Margot. He was definitely capable of doing some very vicious violence. His intentions were very clear. He was about to rape her, and God knows how much else he intended to do. He was smug in the certainty that he could dominate and terrify this young woman, and unaware that his demand would turn the tables in favor of Margot. The turnaround came as a shocking and unpleasant surprise to her assailant. Once Margot had her gun in her hand, she was not only able to turn the tables and protect her life from criminal violence, she was also able to arrest the would-be rapist and control him from a safe distance until the police arrived. I invite you to think about what would have happened if she had not had her father's handgun. Through it all, Margot had the ability to remain level-headed under extreme pressure, and she disproved the old myth that a criminal will take a gun away from a woman and use it on her. Criminals are just not that brave. This one was scared spitless. Margot is one of many American women who are alive and unharmed today because American state governments allowed them to possess and even carry a loaded handgun for the purpose of protecting human life from criminal violence. For those of you unfamiliar with Canadian gun control in our Firearms Control Act and Criminal Code attachments, it is without question what fate would have befallen Margot. Unless she instantaneously achieved master level at Krav Maga or some other martial art, it is very clear that in Canada, Margot would have been another statistic. For you see, under Canadian law, Margot would have to have a restricted license, first of all, for that firearm, and be a member of a gun club in some provinces. That's called a reasonable restriction, by the way. She would also have to have that handgun trigger locked and in a locked box with the ammunition stored separately and securely. I also invite everybody to consider any of their loved ones found in that position. Are the gun control measures in Canada now reasonable? The Firearms Control Act guarantees one thing. It guarantees the safety of criminals. It has given them the government's guarantee that the average Canadian is disarmed and defenseless. Want to hear the ironic part? If this story was taking place in Canada and Margot had held her assailant at bay with a handgun, it is a good chance that she would be arrested along with him for violating our firearms control measures. So I'll leave that for everyone to ponder. And with that, I wish everybody a wonderful